Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the darkest corners of the crypto world, rug pulls. We'll explore what they are, how they happen, and break down some of the biggest and most infamous rug pulls in history. It's a cautionary tale, but an important one for anyone interested in the crypto space. So what exactly is a rug pull? Simply put, it's a type of scam where developers create a new cryptocurrency, pump up its value by attracting investors, and then suddenly abandon the project, running away with all the funds and leaving investors with worthless tokens. It's like having the rug pulled out from under you, hence the name. These scams often happen in the decentralized finance or DeFi space, where it's relatively easy for anonymous developers to create new tokens and list them on decentralized exchanges without much oversight. They'll create a slick website, a professional-looking white paper, and build a massive community on social media, promising incredible returns and revolutionary technology. They get people excited, people invest, and then poof, they vanish. The developers drain the liquidity pool, which is the pool of funds that allows the token to be traded, making it impossible for investors to sell their tokens. The value plummets to zero, and the scammers walk away with millions. Let's start with one of the most talked about rug pulls, the Squid Game token, capitalizing on the immense popularity of the Netflix show. This token appeared in late 2021. It promised a play-to-earn game where players could earn more tokens. The hype was enormous. The price skyrocketed over 23 million% in just a few days, reaching a peak of over $2,800 per token. But there was a huge red flag that many investors unfortunately missed. The token had an anti-selling mechanism. People could buy the Squid token, but they couldn't sell it. This was literally written into the smart contract, as more and more people bought in, driving the price up. The developers were the only ones who could cash out. And that's exactly what they did. In a matter of minutes, they dumped their tokens, drained the liquidity pool, and made off with an estimated $3.3 million. The token's price crashed to less than a cent, and the project's website and social media accounts disappeared. It was a classic brutal rug pull that used pop culture to lure in unsuspecting investors. Next up, we have a case that was a bit more sophisticated and involved a seemingly legitimate project, Thodex. Thodex was a Turkish cryptocurrency exchange founded in 2017. It wasn't a small-time operation. It had hundreds of thousands of users. In April 2021, the exchange abruptly halted all trading and withdrawals, claiming it was dealing with an unspecified outside investment. The CEO, Faruk Fatihzur, fled the country, reportedly taking with him a staggering $2 billion in investor funds. This wasn't a DeFi token rug pull, but a centralized exchange rug pull. Zur allegedly transferred the assets to unknown wallets and vanished. It left nearly 400,000 users unable to access their funds. The aftermath was a massive international manhunt. Zer was eventually arrested in Albania in August 2022 and later extradited to Turkey, where he faced charges that could lead to an incredibly long prison sentence. The Thodex case was a stark reminder that even established centralized platforms can be vehicles for massive fraud. Let's move on to another high-profile example, Anubis.io. This one was particularly painful because of the sheer amount of money lost in such a short time. Anubis.io was launched as a fork of Olympus.io, a popular DeFi protocol. It used a dog-themed meme branding, centered around the Egyptian god of the dead, Anubis, which in hindsight seems rather prophetic. The project raised nearly $60 million worth of Ethereum in its initial token sale. Investors were promised Anki tokens in exchange for their ETH. However, just 20 hours after the sale began, all the raised funds, about 13,556 ETH, were suddenly drained from the liquidity pool and sent to a different wallet. The community was in shock. The developer who initially controlled the funds claimed they had been the victim of a phishing attack, suggesting they had accidentally exposed the private keys. However, the crypto community was highly skeptical. Whether it was an inside job or a sophisticated hack, the result was the same. $60 million vanished, and investors were left with nothing. The investigation is still ongoing, but it's a perfect example of how quickly things can go wrong in unregulated token sales. Now, let us talk about a project that actually seemed to have some substance before it all went south. OneCoin. This was less of a quick rug pull and more of a long-running multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme with a crypto veneer. Founded in 2014 by Dr. Roya Ignatova, the so-called crypto queen, OneCoin was marketed as a revolutionary digital currency that would be the Bitcoin killer. They held massive recruitment events around the world, promising guaranteed, massive returns. The problem? OneCoin had no actual blockchain. The value of the coin was just a number displayed on a website, controlled entirely by the company. It was a classic pyramid scheme, rewarding members for recruiting new people. For years, they operated, pulling in an estimated $4 billion from investors globally. Then, in 2017, as authorities began to close in, Ruya Ignatova boarded a flight to Athens and disappeared. She has not been seen since and is now on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. Many of her associates have been arrested, but the mastermind and the majority of the money are gone. OneCoin preyed on people's lack of knowledge about crypto, selling them a dream built on a foundation of lies. So how can you protect yourself from these kinds of scams? There are several red flags to watch out for. First, be wary of anonymous development teams. If you can't find out who is behind a project, that's a major warning sign. Legitimate projects usually have public-facing teams with verifiable track records. Second, look at the project's documentation. Is the white paper vague, full of marketing buzzwords and promising unrealistic returns? A solid project will have a detailed, technical white paper outlining its goals and technology. Third, check the smart contract code. If you're not a coder, look for projects that have had their code audited by reputable security firms. These audits can spot vulnerabilities or malicious code, like the anti-selling mechanism in the Squid Game token. Fourth, analyze the token distribution. If a huge percentage of the tokens are held by the developers or a small number of wallets, they have the power to crash the market by dumping their holdings. Finally, be skeptical of overly aggressive marketing and hype. Scammers create a sense of FOMO, or fear of missing out, to pressure you into investing without doing your due diligence. If it sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. The world of cryptocurrency holds incredible potential, but it's also a new frontier with its own set of dangers. Rug pulls are a serious threat, but by being informed, skeptical, and careful, you can navigate the space more safely. Always do your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose. And don't let the promise of quick riches cloud your judgment. The stories of Squid Game, Thodix, Anubis.io, and OneCoin are harsh lessons in what can happen when caution is thrown to the wind. Stay educated, stay safe, and let's hope for a future with more transparency and security in the crypto ecosystem. Thanks for watching. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. See you in the next one.